your question and a lot of people's questions, and I think like maybe the first or second show, is Garrett Bradbury a piece of this offense? Like, is he a piece or is he just here and we're trying to find somebody? Is he a stopgap, as they would say?
Hmm.
I don't know, but this is what I will say. Rumor has it he's gained some weight. He's gained some strength. If you think about, like I said, the Rams. Now, the outside zone is not like the zone run scheme is not specific to like one team. The zone scheme, just to go layman's terms, is really simple. You're taking a guy in your zone. If there's a guy in both of your zones and they offensive line, tackles, tight ends, they every coach teaches it the way they need to coach it. But basically, if there's a guy, Sam, in your and I's gap, I'm going to hit him and post him up. You're going to hit him and post him up. Once we have him stopped, if it's an outside run and you're outside of me, 9 times out of 10, you're the guy taking off, and I'm going to keep him and control him. You're going to take off and go get the next guy, whether it's the linebacker or a cornerback, whatever's at depth, you're going to the next guy. I've never really seen it where the inside guy goes when there's an outside run. So if it's an inside run, same thing. Outside guy's going to, once he gets control, guy pushes him in, and then I'm going to go because now I know you have him. I can go running back and keep following me. Garrett Bradbury, we talked about getting pushed back by Aaron Donald, Akeem Hicks, all this other stuff, all these bigger guys in the middle. Well, now maybe with 10 or 15 more pounds of muscle and just girth, maybe he can sustain a longer, 1 second longer. That's really all we talked about. When Kirk Cousins makes some of these throws, he's throwing it and there's a guy right at his feet sometimes. Or a guy gets pushed back too quick, so Kirk gets flustered and then he's rushing. If that half a second is given by that 10 or 15 pounds, I think that changes. People say, football's a game of inches. It's also a game of seconds, half seconds. Like that can change a game. Coach Macy used to always say, don't blink. And as a young guy, I used to be like, man, what the heck is he talking about? And I'll never forget like staring at him one time because I didn't want to blink because I'm like, all right, I'm not going to blink. And then as the season went on my freshman year, I started to understand what don't blink meant. Like because he would always say that, don't blink. And then he said the difference between 8-3 and 3-8 is a blink of an eye. And we only play 11 games back there for people like, wait, where's the 12th game? 8-3, 3-8. That's what Mason's speech was to us. And so when I thought about blinking, you look at moments where maybe Akeem Hicks gets in too quick because Garrett Bradbury can't get there and Justin Jefferson's just about to come open. That's where I leave that. I think with his weight, I think this is going to help him out with that half second to second of time that Kirk comes in that middle pocket, keeping that middle pocket clean. And maybe Garrett Bradbury becomes a new person under this offense and has a resurgence, a quarterback that's going to help him get into the right call. That's where I go with that, Sam. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm just curious why this weight gaining regimen wasn't the plan after year one. I see Brian O'Neill. He bulked up a ton early in his career. Ezra Cleveland put on weight. I mean, even these mobile guys they brought in because they're so fast, even those guys were allowed to bulk up. It's not like the Vikings were opposed to it. So why couldn't we get a couple more milkshakes in Garrett Bradbury those first couple of years when it was clearly an issue? I mean, he clearly had trouble pass blocking as a rookie. And we didn't really see those kind of gains in the first few years. So, I mean, maybe that was a personal choice for him. Maybe he thought he couldn't play as well if he was heavier. But I think we needed to go this route. And it sounds like Bradbury's just eating whatever he can. He just said he's not really adding necessarily good weight. He's just trying to gain weight, period. And I think it's kind of the last ditch effort, right? He's got to save his career by doing something, because if he has a bad season, well, then he's a free agent. And then you get stuck in that cycle of 1-year deals, journeyman, backup. If you want to be a starter next year, you're Bradbury, you got to play really well this year. So if the weight thing works, more power to him, then he might be a starter in this league for a while.
Yeah, the one thing I'll say to that is you have to look at the guys they go get. So Ryan Manis, Viking scout personnel, head of scouting, he explained to me what they do. So they go to the coaches and have a meeting every year before they hit the road again or before they start or during the season. They always meet with the coaches, especially the new staff. And so this is kind of the new what they just did. They go to the coach and say, hey, what do you want? Like, what do you want? Because every guy that's scouting has kind of a niche position they look at, whether this guy does a lot of DBs and corners. This guy is really good at finding us receivers. This guy is really good at, like, the Steelers. I mean, think about their scout. Who I don't know who it is, but man, Chase Claypool, Antonio Brown, Juju Smith-Schuster. Like, he's finding these second, third, fourth round, sixth round receivers that end up becoming really good. Deion Johnson. Like, he's finding guy after guy after guy. Whether it's Big Ben, because we'll see if Juju's still good with the Chiefs. Like, maybe it was the system. Maybe it was Big Ben. Maybe it was AB and Juju together because that's when they were the best. Who knows? But they're finding them. Chase Claypool was just a beast. And so when you think about that, Ryan Manis, they were told what they were supposed to look for in the offensive lineman. They found Garrett Bradbury because it fit. Kubiak had never had a center or guard in like 10 years with the Broncos that was heavier than like 306 pounds or something like that. And so if you think about it, like Ben Hamilton, former Gopher, played center for us, undersized, right at about 305. Went to the Broncos and they moved him to guard. He played center a little bit, but they moved him to guard. Same deal though. They wanted undersized guys that can move because it was a true zone. We're going to completely move this line and we're going to get out in space. And that's what they got. And then all of a sudden you get all these different changes and the run game changes a little bit. And, we're going to get, your son's now the coordinator. I mean, some guys just aren't built for what, if you're trying to run a power like scheme, that wasn't Garrett Bradbury's deal. So maybe that was part of it, not realizing, well, we're not Denver. We're not playing some of these teams up there that have, 275, 300 pound nose. We're paying Akeem Hicks 360. We're playing against these bigger guys in our conference for sure. So I think that's part of it. And also, guys just can't gain weight. I mean, some guys could eat 1,000 to 2,000 to 3,000 calories and nothing happens. Like, their body just doesn't hold on to it. They go to training camp. And that's the other thing too. We could talk about this weight now when he's doing not a lot, just, out there pushing around. And when you get to training camp and you start sweating, let's see if that 10 to 15 sticks around and what that storyline becomes.